Hello, fellow martial artists. Today will be a very in-depth look at a wonderful a martial art that involves kicking, and that's about it. We're talking about the Filipino martial arts, Sikaran. I have no idea what that intro was, but we're talking about Sikaran, so let's jump in. It's a Filipino kicking style.
Pow pow, inside, inside fighting, yeah, dangerous, dangerous martial arts. Pow pow, ooh ah.
All right, guys, as always, if you want to support the channel or just like martial arts in general, check out my store, InsideFightingStore.com. I just dropped a new instructional. It's a badass instructional. It's all solo drills for 12 Pares. My background in Filipino martial arts is primarily 12 Pares. I did Ilustrisimo as well. I've trained privately with Tommy Daitang, but what my main instructor was Chris Bautista, an amazing grandmaster who's the grandson of Kakoy Cañete, Grandmaster Kakoy Cañete. And I was lucky enough to train with him and learn all these diverse systems. And I'm sharing a lot of the drills that he taught me with you guys. And some of them are my own creation, I'm not going to lie. But it's a great, great instructional for training at home on your own. You could just buy a set of sticks. You could pick up an extendable baton, whatever you want. This will translate to that perfectly. Even if you train Filipino martial arts, I think there'll be something cool in that instructional for you. So I'll tell you what, you don't like it, I always have the same guarantee, the same promise. I don't want to take your money if you watch something I made and you don't like it. So you can watch it. You can hit me up and be like, look, I want a refund. I thought it sucked. Just be honest. If you thought it was good and you're just trying to get your money back, you'll break my heart. All right, here we go. So Sikaran. Sikaran was a martial art I was exposed to through Chris Bautista. Grandmaster Chris really liked training various martial arts from the Philippines, and Sikaran, Yaoyan, all these styles were part of it. And we were also very, very empty hand focused, which is rare for a lot of other Filipino martial arts schools, I'm noticing. He was very much into being able to defend yourself with your hands as well. So very blessed to have been able to train with him, but I knew what Sikaran was now for about 24 years. I've always liked Sikaran. Sikaran to me is what Taekwondo was 30, 40 years ago when it was badass, before it kind of evolved into a very touch, gentle style. A lot of Sikaran guys, and let's just jump right in here and play some of this so you guys can see. Sikaran guys are not as scared to make contact. They're very, very well known for that exact kick, an axe kick, which is fascinating because you see that very, very effectively used in Kyokushin as well. You see it used in Taekwondo. It's one of my favorite kicks. And you see, whoa, light just fell. The kick was so hard on the screen that it knocked my own light down. That's how powerful Sikaran is, ladies and gentlemen. And you'll see they're fighting a lot of Taekwondo guys here. The nice thing about Sikaran guys is because it's not such a popularized system worldwide, which is sadly true of many Filipino martial arts, they do go compete against other systems. Now, right off the bat, I know this is going to get a lot of criticism. I've noticed there's an immediate trend to put down two things: anything that's not used in MMA and anything that is heavily kick-oriented. Let me just explain something to you. As much as everyone loves Muay Thai, traditional Muay Thai is heavily kick-oriented. They didn't punch very much. They use clinch and kicks, elbows and kicks. The style was very much at a long range, preferable to kick than it was to punch. These styles, these kicking styles, are very effective for what they give you. They're not meant to give you the full picture. They're meant to give you a piece of the puzzle. Sikaran, as a kicking style to generate timing, distance, speed, and even toughness, is incredibly effective because if you look, these guys are able to kick right up in your face. Let me tell you a little Kyokushin story. One of the few times I've actually been dropped hard in sparring was a Kyokushin class where I went in and I was face-to-face with the guy, punching him in the body. He was a black belt in Kyokushin. And then literally inches from my face, we're standing punching each other. I had no expectation of a kick. He managed to bring a kick and just catch me behind the ear. That's an exceptional skill that I've noticed Kyokushin gives you. It's also a skill that Sikaran gives you at a much higher level, I even imagine, than Kyokushin guys. These guys are throwing kicks so close and they're so flexible that it's really, really impressive. And as you can see, some of these guys they're fighting are Taekwondo guys. And again, that's just by nature of the sport not having enough competition. Beautiful spinning kick there. But, I mean, these guys are just willing to throw their body full velocity. Now, I want to talk about some of the differences between Taekwondo and Sikaran. What you'll notice is Sikaran guys will plant their hand on the ground when they're spinning to generate more balance and force behind the kick. They will literally drop their body and put their hand on the ground and then throw the back kick. Now, they're just fully committing to a spinning back kick. You'll see a lot of the time they use it as a base. It's a slight difference than how Taekwondo guys fight. What you'll also notice is that Sikaran guys do not do what I call modern day lazy leg Taekwondo as much as Taekwondo guys do it, which is just flopping your leg out there in front of you, hoping to just touch the person. When they go for the kick, they tend to go for it. And I like this because it's a little bit more realistic in terms of fighting. Another thing they're willing to do is also stay up close and personal, like I said, and grab. They're not supposed to technically, but if you look, a lot of the Sikaran guys are comfortable kind of pulling you down and then throwing a head kick. A lot of tournaments don't allow that, but you'll see where they do allow it, they do tend to do it very well. They'll even grab from behind the person as they throw a kick and the person kind of turns away and then catch them like that. This is a beautiful example of kind of the flow of Sikaran, which you rarely see again. That was a beautiful knockout. We got to go back. Look, and you can't do this in Taekwondo, but you'll see he throws low then high. See, low then high. Did you guys catch that? They generate low, high. Beautiful. You're not allowed to go to the legs in Taekwondo, but man, that guy's on a stretcher. Moment of silence for that guy. He's not having a good day. They just have among the best spinning kicks that I've seen. Tons of force. Let's look at this guy right here. His name is Master Ferrer. And I like martial arts where the person's a little bit older. They're not like in their 20s, and they're still throwing beautiful kicks. Look at this guy's movement. Perfect structure, perfect balance, spinning. I mean, it's just really, really nice. I don't see anything negative about this kicking style at all. And, here's something I'll just point out. This is obviously influenced because, okay, so Sikad, I think means in Tagalog kick. You could call this the art of kicking or exchange of kicks would be a close translation for what Sikaran means in English. But this incarnation of it is obviously more new and obviously influenced by some degree traditional Japanese, Korean, whatever martial arts that have katas that look like this. It's hard for me to believe that it's not. Does that take anything away from it? No. But we just have to be aware of where martial arts came from. Because that to me looks exactly like XMA. So, but beautiful. Great strength. And I know, again, everyone's going to be in the comment section. Not everyone, but there's going to be a few guys who are like, yeah, well, pull that stuff off in MMA. Pull that stuff off against a Muay Thai guy. I'm going to show you some videos later. There's this guy, Jefferson, or Jeff Panag, who's a very good Sikaran guy who goes and fights other styles. This, by the way, is Kyokushin versus Sikaran. And Kyokushin is one of my favorite systems. If you don't know that about me, you don't know anything about me. I love Kyokushin. But you could see here that the Sikaran guy is able to pull some kicks off that the Kyokushin guy is just not used to. And as much as we talk about toughness, you can't toughen your head. So if someone can bring their leg up there and catch you very, very quick, like these guys can, it's scary. Threw the side kick to the face there. It's hard to deal with people who can move that way. And again, the basic kicks you'll see here are side kicks, back kicks, and spinning kicks, and even roundhouse kicks. But they're very, very, very good with their side kicks, which is a very underutilized tool, even in MMA today. I would like to see more side kicks become standardized as like you have your jab, you have your teep, your little front kick, but a side kick gives you a little bit more range. And I throw my front kicks with a turn on them at the end to make them almost like a modified side kick. So I start off with a front kick and then I turn my hip out to get more range on it. So again, the Sikaran guy here is having a little bit of issue with getting punched by the Kyokushin guy, but that's because Kyokushin is just so amazing, folks. It's just so amazing. And he's looking to counter. So again, my note would be that Sikaran to me is what Taekwondo was and should be today. That's kind of the best explanation I can give. But this guy's tough. He's hanging in there with the Kyokushin guys, taking shots to the body. He's laying back, trying to get ready to counter. You can tell he's putting all his weight on his back leg so he can spin. And yeah, but Kyokushin guys are just so good at closing the range that it makes it really hard to go for any fancy kicks on them because they'll just drive in on you, which is why you see him so strongly rely on that side kick and trying to keep range. You can really see the difference in styles here. Strong, heavy stance over the hips versus leaning back, closing in versus moving back, structured forward pressure versus spinning. Two completely different methods of generating power and different methods of fighting. Okay, so let's just move on from this one. Here we're going to see some, again, Sikaran versus Taekwondo highlights. And I think this right here, this is Jeff. This is Jeff in the red fighting, the guy I told you earlier who's a good Sikaran guy. And his timing and speed is excellent. And I think, honestly, as MMA continues to evolve and continues to grow, you're going to see more of these kicking styles, whether it's Taekwondo, just because it's so much more popular, come into play. And you are starting to see that. There's an Olympic guy that just came into the UFC who does Taekwondo. There's a lot of guys who are black belts in Taekwondo who've come into the UFC. Anthony Pettis is great. But there's a ton. And so, you know, to just dismiss these kicking styles as not having value always bothers me. The only thing I will say, by the way, is that, and you'll see it common in a lot of heavy kick-oriented styles, range styles. You'll see it in Silat tournaments. You'll see it in Sikaran tournaments, and you'll see it in Taekwondo, is people fight with their hands down in order to generate more power and more speed and better footwork. That translates, man, that was a nice outside hook kick over the top. I don't know if you guys saw that. I want to just rewind that for you. Look how fast these exchanges are. So right there, over the top, lands on the head. That's beautiful. That's incredible. I always found it so nice the way Sikaran guys spin. There's just a different quality to it than Taekwondo. And I don't know how to explain it. But it just feels and looks different. And if you've ever experienced it, the timing of the spin is different than Taekwondo. It's such a weird phenomenon. They have this way of turning that's a little bit more hypnotizing. I don't know how to explain it. It's like it has a lag to it. But fascinating. Here we go. This is see, they have no protection on. Their hands are up. So this is like a more traditional Sikaran tournament here. And you can see they're grabbing just for brief seconds. They're not allowed to grab each other. That's why his hands are up like this, like he's doing the, oh no, what did I do? But again, this is a tougher sport. Again, I'm not trying to put down Taekwondo. I did a video talking about how I saw a lot of value in Taekwondo recently, but I do think it has to be a little bit more of an old school approach where the intention was to cause some kind of damage to the body or rattle the person to score a point. Versus, you know, I just touched you and my gear registers slight impact and all of a sudden I've won the fight. I like this approach more. No protection. Let's just kick each other. We can throw each other on the ground and whoever wins, wins. And here we go. Now we're going to look at the last two here by Jeff. And you're going to see first he's fighting a kickboxer. Just got a kickboxer, axe kick right to the head. What did I tell you? Those axe kicks are brutal. Let's look at that one more time right here. A lot of guys are not used to blocking that. That's why Andy Hug was able to do, or Andy Hoog was able to do so much damage to people with his axe kick. Even Thai guys. This is a Thai guy here. Full contact fight. Okay, beautiful side kick there. And if you're not used to having these kicks come at you, I don't care how much you train Muay Thai, it's hard to react to them. It's hard to, that was a beautiful spinning kick. Beautiful kick. Like, I don't care how good a fighter you are. Sometimes that's the type of thing that will just catch you. And it generates so much. And he threw it, by the way, little note here. Look what he does. People think this is just luck. Or, oh, the Muay Thai fighter wasn't good. So let's just look at that final moment one more time. And I'll pause it on it. Look, his hand is up. He's throwing a kick. This is the Muay Thai guy. He's structurally sound here. Problem is, the kick snuck inside the guard because that's how they throw it. They throw it on this weird angle. And if you look, he had driven him back into the ropes before throwing it, so there was nowhere for him to go. It's very hard to block that kick just by putting up your arm. You have to move back. So that's why he's setting up early on these little side kicks and creating range See, he drives him back. There's logic here. There's IQ here that leads to that knockout. Steps in with the axe kick. Now he kind of corners him before throwing it, and there it is. That's not luck. So final notes. And I know everyone's going to be like, that Muay Thai fighter just didn't know what he was doing. Because here's something I want to say. I've noticed a trend. I don't care what martial art it is. I don't care if it's Wing Chun, Muay Thai, boxing. Anytime there's a video of a style getting beat, practitioners of that style have two comments. Well, that wasn't real boxing. That wasn't real Muay Thai. That's like and I don't know why you all have that voice in my head, but you do. So deal with it. But that's the common go-to. And the next thing is, if they do accept, okay, well, this guy did train Muay Thai for 15 years and got caught. He was a competitive fighter and got caught. They go, well, he just sucks. You know, the ability to see your style lose and say, okay, there are things in these other styles that might be able to benefit me. I should be able to look at these things. Just because one Muay Thai guy lost, or one boxer, or one Wing Chun guy, or one Sikaran guy, doesn't mean my style sucks. But you shouldn't dismiss it as like, okay, my style's perfect, and therefore if it loses, it's because of these two possible things. Either the fighter sucked, or he didn't even really do the style. All right, so I'm going to end on this final note. Fighting is statistics. It doesn't matter how much you train. It doesn't matter how good you are. It doesn't matter how good the person you're fighting is. All of that will put you into a statistical category. In other words, if I'm a highly athletic, very strong, trained professional fighter who's competed and has experience, and I'm fighting a guy who's out of shape, who doesn't know how to fight, who is drunk, then there's a 99.9999999% chance that I will beat this guy. All variables considering, I'm aware he's going to attack me. Now, what that means is there's still a very small percentage you lose. Now, those variables change drastically as things come down. In other words, you're not a pro fighter, you're in good shape, but you've been training 3 times a week. This guy is a little bit bigger and stronger. He's a street fighter. He's had some street fights. The variables start evening out more than people realize. So fighting is all statistics. It's why when I teach self-defense, I teach people not to be able to hurt the other person, but to protect themselves. Because what I'm trying to do is reduce the statistical chance of getting knocked out. That's all I care about in a street fight. It's why I teach to hug the head. It's why I teach to cover up and close the gap or move out. Because when you stay in the pocket and you trade, there's a statistical chance you get caught. It's why great fighters in MMA lose to guys who are not as good. Matt Serra beating George St. Pierre the first time is an example of this. It is a statistical anomaly, but it happened. And so street fighting, when your life is on the line, you don't want to take those statistical chances. You want to have a style that is as direct, covers you up, and protects you as much as possible, even if it doesn't damage the other person that much. I'm bringing this up because Sikaran to me is not a style that you would use for that. Sikaran is a supplemental style that you would learn to get a little bit tougher, have good footwork, have good range, and learn to keep people away with your feet while keeping your hands up. So it would be great as a measuring tool and as a distance maintaining tool. But it's not a complete self-defense system. Again, I think it's a great sport. I hope it gets more attention. I hope this video, introduced some people to a unique system that's unique in the sense that it's almost identical to Taekwondo, but still slightly different. And like and subscribe. That's all I got to say for today.